Hey class, welcome to the beginning of week 2. We're mainly going to be going through group conferences throughout this week. However, I wanted to take Monday to check in with the rest of you and make sure that we all know what's going on as far as the group project is concerned, and also give ourselves the chance to ask any questions that we might be having about the group project so far. I know that a lot of us would like some more clarification, and I haven't had the chance to talk to you one-on-one yet about all of that. So I'll try to give us the chance to do that for class today. In the meantime, though, my question for you is, what music should I listen to this week? What music should all of us maybe listen to this week? Now that we're under quarantine, I've been finding myself with a lot of free time to check out new movies and music and books and all sorts of things that maybe I'll be asking you about in the upcoming weeks. That's what I'd like to start out with, and then we'll go on to talk about last Friday's literature review and what sort of grades we all posted on that. First things first, I would have given the sample paper from last Friday a C for a few reasons, starting with how it set up the introduction. Now, some of you noticed the exact same thing. I saw in our comments recently that one of you wrote, "The introduction was just saying the same thing over and over." And while they did come up with an interesting topic, it isn't very specific. They need to go into more detail on how they're measuring the student's performance. Is it through grades, test scores, a separate forum, etc.? That's exactly right. If we look at this group's thesis statement, we can see that they have a range of subtopics to go through as they come to an answer to some sort of question, but it's unclear exactly what they're really going to answer unless we have a few more details, starting with how do we know how students really perform academically? Is that based on attendance or GPA, SAT scores? There are a lot of different ways that we might actually judge that, and to create a true research paper, you need to settle on a specific criteria or focus that you are using to develop your question. Now, to focus on the positive for this essay, they did include a range of sources and put them in conversation with each other. The problem is they seem to go back and forth between a lot of different ideas at once, and although there is a connection between the quotes that they're using to show the amount of money that different school districts have and these maps here at the bottom, but the authors don't really use this as an opportunity to say very much about the quotes. For instance, here they write, "The quote proves that there is injustice." And while I'm not necessarily debating that, I think that a little more could have been said about this effect of school funding. Here's another of many examples in this paper where the transitions kind of take a sudden turn. All of a sudden, these authors mention that the internet has positives and negatives in our lives. And once again, I'm not saying that isn't true, but this seems like a very sudden new idea to be bringing up when I thought we were focusing on the spending per school district. Like I've mentioned before, there are many different ways you might decide to structure your literature review. One of you wrote on the discussion board this week, "The author should address the subtopic and then display which sources had that subtopic in common." At least in my opinion. And you know what? Your opinion is what matters for the literature review. You just really need to discuss that with your group mates. There are many ways that you can combine your sources, but you should be looking out for sudden transitions. The worksheets that I had you do last week are ideally going to get you started brainstorming and how to connect some of these into paragraphs overall. Now, I imagine a lot of you still want to talk about the literature review that we just went over, as well as your own literature reviews and how you're coming to answer a conclusion to your research question from the very beginning. That's why today's reflection is to ask anything at all that's on your mind right now, especially in regards to the literature review, either the one that we graded as a sample today or the one you're working on as a group. Any question at all is going to work for your reflection. Also, please remember to send me an email telling me when you and your group would like to meet for the upcoming conference. Since we're meeting online now, I'm willing to meet up with you and your group any time of the day that's most convenient for you. I'll be sending you a link to this website, Zoom. You really shouldn't need to do anything other than click the link that I will email back to you when you and your group mates tell me the time that you would like to be meeting this week. Anyway, we will be having a video conference sometime later this week. Please let me know if you have any questions at all about that. However, you should just need to send me an email with a time that's going to work for you, and I'll send you back a link that you ought to be able to just click from any device that has a webcam, and we ought to conference in next week. Let me know if you have any other questions in the meantime. See you there.